So, all right, I've got Matt Lipscomb from Southeastern. He's going to help us out. We're going to be talking to him about some rural education questions and just kind of go back and forth. I taught with Matt at Moody a few years back, and he's been at some larger schools and some smaller schools. And so we'll ask him a few things. And my project is on a different school, but it's similar in size to where Coach Lipscomb's at. So that's why I wanted to ask him a few questions. And then, so I'll just begin with, thanks again. And then tell me why you enjoy being at a rural / kind of small school.
Okay. Ain't no problem. Glad I could help you out. I like the small school setting, I guess, because it's more of similar to what I grew up in. Even though my alma mater is now a larger school, when I first got there, it was a 3A program. So just a lot more community-based stuff where everybody's kind of tight-knit. Everybody knows everybody. So, at our school, at the school I teach at now, Southeastern, we're K through 12 all in one building, or pre-K through 12 all in one building. So, I start learning kids' names when they're in kindergarten, and by the time they get up to middle school that I teach, I've known them for years. And now that one of my kids in school, like she's right down the hallway, so that's always nice too. So I just like the fact that it's a smaller setting. You still get the same feel as your normal high school. Now there are drawbacks to the fact that we're a smaller school. We have limited resources, stuff like that, but it just feels more like home, what I grew up in.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. So you mentioned a little bit about the community, and it's close knit and it's tight knit. So like as far as collaborating and drawing encouragement from each other, like what are some ways that y'all incorporate the community into y'all school?
Well, the first one, we have a PTSO, so that's parent teacher student organization. So it's a couple of people that work at the school, and they get kids to have their parents sign up, and they become part of kind of like a advisory board almost for the school. And they do fundraisers to do school improvement projects and just being involved with, clubs, dances, helping out athletic teams if the funds are available, stuff like that. As far as our athletic side goes, obviously the parents play a huge role in that because funding is not always something that we have a ton of. Being a rural school, we got a lot of blue collar parents. So, money's not always just readily available. So you kind of lean on those community stakeholders to come in and, offer more of their time rather than their maybe money. So we have, each sport has their own booster club made up of the parents their kids are involved. So you don't kind of have that like one overreaching thing. It's more for each one, so that we've had the one large booster club, and I think we really like having the smaller ones because it's more directive towards what your sport or organization, even our clubs have, not booster clubs, but parents that help out. But anyway, you get more of a personalized care, if you will. And then we're very lucky to have several, even though we're a small community, we have probably 5 or 6 churches that are constantly in the building, providing breakfast, sponsoring the first priority, or just whatever they can do. Anytime there's a need or something, we have some great stakeholders in the community that love to come in and make sure that our kids and our families know that they're here for them and trying to do what's best for our kids.
Yeah, well, that's awesome because I know it helps. Whether it's just encouragement or resources or just time, the kids really can tell that those people care about them. So, and then as far as like when we're looking at, being at a rural school and some of the things that come with that, I know each school kind of has their own culture and their own vision, but as far as your school, like what helps them, kind of thrive to empower their community / y'all school?
Well, because we try to keep the community involved in the school, it's got to start with a well communicated plan. Like if both parties don't know what they're trying to accomplish, then you're just one side's working on one thing, one side's working on another, nothing's getting done. So making sure that everybody's on the same page, and that goes with strong leadership in our school, whether it be our administrators or teachers or even student leaders. We all have
Right.
we have our ambassadors in SGA and all those things, all the student led stuff, and then your stakeholders within the community, your more prominent community leaders, your council people, whatever it may be, business owners, stuff like that. And then we something that we don't do enough of, but something that we're trying to get better at is not only you try to get the community involved, but it needs to be a two-way street as well. So making sure that we're in touch with these community leaders so that our kids can do service projects for the people that take care of them too. And then
Right.
you're not just doing a service project because somebody said, hey, we're going to go pick up trash on this side of the road, when community leaders and your stakeholders may say, hey, look, that's great. It's a great idea, but we really have a need here. So that, again, just having that open communication and just a plan, now your service projects become more meaningful and more impactful on both sides.
Right. Yeah, because you don't want to just do something just to check a box, say,
Right.
We did a service project, but you're actually, helping each other out.
Right.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. And you kind of mentioned some things y'all might want to do better at. And so that kind of leads us into like, what are some ways y'all are committed to, having some change and doing some stuff to improve, where you're at?
Yeah. It's going to have to start with that clear purpose, as much as it is a communicated plan. If you don't have a plan to start with, a clear plan, we're just beating our head against the wall, if you will.
Yeah.
And then the part that, especially, and I can't speak for the bigger schools, I've been out of it for 5 years, but something that we're really working on is trying to find some ways to promote and reinforce positive outcomes. Like, with all the different testings and the things like that, like just with kids in general, how do you promote those positive, like, we want you to perform at this level. Well, when you do, we want to reinforce those behaviors and not just say, well, good job, that's what you're supposed to do,
Right. Yeah.
So it's something that we're trying to work on and trying to find ways to reinforce the positive outcomes and, celebrate the wins, because all you ever hear is negative. All you ever hear is negative. Oh, the test scores are down and stuff. But when you do finally get a win, like, don't just say, well, good. We're going to have to. Kids nowadays are so much into instant gratification, and it's not just kids. Adults are too.
Correct. Yeah.
We're all so used to just instant gratification. We're going to have to find ways to incentivize almost the things we want to be able to see. And then the other part to me is like keeping that open door policy. Like, the worst thing you can do is try to make change and then say, all right, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it my way, and that's it. It might work, but if there's small changes that can be made to make it, again, more impactful, don't be so hard for somebody to come just have a conversation with you. Like, if they have a question, email, phone call, come meet with us, like whatever we need to do, let's keep it to where the people that have a skin in the game, if you will, can communicate so that everybody gets the most out of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Right. That's perfect. Yeah. That definitely, if there's a way, like you were talking about incentivizing, if there's a way you can, get that reinforcement and those kids know, hey, if I do this, I'm going to get some type of reward.
Right.
That would always help for sure. But no, I really appreciate you getting on here and talking with us a little bit. I know that you're a prominent, teacher, coach at that school. Last thing, because y'all have so few of, athletes or, just students in general, I'm assuming everybody tries to get the same kids to do everything.
For
So
sure.
how do y'all work together and collaborate as far as, whether it's coaches or, teachers and just in general, like if they have to work, like I'm assuming y'all have to work together.
Yes. That was probably the biggest culture shock to me is, in not my alumni or my high school, we weren't huge, but most people played two sports.
Right.
At Thompson when I was there as a young teacher there, most of these kids play maybe two, but most of them were solo sports guys. So you never had to, or girls, you never had to share hardly at all. Here, I mean, if there's a ball being played with, the same kids playing all of them.
Right.
I mean, and we have cut down a little bit, but at one point, like just during the fall, we offered football, volleyball, flag football, started bowling. Then you went into, I mean, we had wrestling, bowling, soccer. I mean, we had every sport I've ever seen. And you're talking about there's not that many teachers there, so the same coaches are coaching 3 and 4, 5 sports at a time. Whatever. It's crazy. You're like, hey, you can't coach 4 sports. I'm like, I'm telling you, I've seen people do it. It's not. It is crazy, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So you have to really work together and kind of keep an open mind, and then being in our community, like a lot of our kids, I won't say all, but a lot of our kids in the summer, especially like summer's the wildest thing. A lot of our kids work. I mean, they're working so that they can drive their car to school during the summer. I mean, during the fall and the spring, and doing helping at home, whatever it is. So like we try not to run the kids down. Like you said, they're the same. Our quarterback is our point guard, and then he's the center fielder. So he's going to play all three. And then when he's not playing baseball, he's going to run track for me. So I mean, like,
yeah.
So during the summer, during June, during the summer we work out at night. We go 6 to 8:30, so that the kids that are working can go to work, and then during June, we don't see baseball or basketball players at all. Like they do whatever baseball or basketball is doing, and we say, hey, we'll see y'all in July. Now they're still working out, they're still doing the stuff, but we don't make them go to the morning stuff and then come to us. We just don't want to overwork them. And then that transfers into the middle of the school year. I mean, to the school year. Like right now, we're middle of football season and basketball's already starting up. I mean, there's kids playing like bouncing the basketball, doing conditioning, volleyball. Our volleyball coach right now, our volleyball coach is also our girls' head basketball coach. So this week she started 6 a.m. basketball practices, school, volleyball games after school.
You're right.
She's working herself to death, but I mean, so you just got to be understanding, like, and just say, look, if you need them, let me know in advance. And we know, like, when we get into the playoffs of our football, saying that we make it, our basketball team's going to be getting ready to play, and over half the team's going to be on the football team.
Right.
And so, like, if we have a day off, because we typically don't practice much, if any, on Thursdays. Most people just do a walkthrough, send them home on the bus. So we don't do much on Thursdays. The basketball coach will ask us sometimes, can they come up here, and we're like, that's fine. Go ahead and start learning your plays or whatever, but just no competition. And you just have to trust each other. You have to have that good working relationship to say, hey, you're going to take care of my guys. Like, we're in our playoff situation. We don't need them going 5-on-5 right now.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And it kind of, based on that, like you can see the commitment with the faculty and each other and the kids, and just how such hardworking, kids you have, that they want to do all the things and they make time for it.
yeah.
But also the trust that y'all get with each other by not overworking them and having to deal with each other as a faculty too. So,
I mean, and that's just athletics. These same kids are ambassadors and SGA. So, like,
right.
if they've got to go to a thing for SGA or whatever, they
Right.
may be late for practice, and as long as they let us know, like, we just say, all right. I mean, what can you do? We want our
Right.
kids to be able to do everything they can.
Right.
So you just say, all right, well, we'll work around it, and you just make it work. I mean, you can get frustrated if you want to, but they're still going to do what they're going to do. And, and as long as they know, like, that's the biggest thing and it goes back to what we was talking about earlier, that open door and free communication. Like, as long as they will just come talk to us and let us know,
Right.
hey, coach, next Tuesday, whatever it is, I've got to go to this thing. It's supposed to end at 3:00. I'll be back by 3:45. I'm aware of it. We can make it work. Now, they're still high school kids.
Correct.
So one of them's gonna not tell you, and you're gonna be looking for them, and then what do you do? That's one of those things where now we've got to have that. I tell you what you end up with. You end up with some high school kids that have some real mature conversations early. And not to say it's anything negative, but they have to sit down with their coaches and say, yeah, I didn't let you know, and this is why. And, it's not a lot of, we don't get a lot of texts from parents saying, hey, they're not going to be here. Like, the kids handle their business.
Right.
And I mean, it works out. It works out pretty well. There's obviously always frustrations, but there always will be.
That's it. It doesn't matter if you have everything worked out right.
Right.
There'll still be frustrations. So.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it. And